Now, once you've interpreted the question, you need your plan. And the reason why is it helps you develop your ideas in advance. It makes you execute your writing perfectly when you're writing an essay. Even if it's something that you only do over 5 minutes, and really a good plan and someone who's used to planning will only take a couple of minutes to do so. It will enable you to structure your argument and making it both logical and cohesive. By making an argument both logical and cohesive, what you're doing is you're setting it up so you're starting with your strongest point and you're working your way down. You're doing it so that everything blends together, that you're writing in such a way where you don't have to keep crossing out things because you're not happy with your idea, because you already would have planned it in advance. And actually what you're doing by planning is you're saving time. You're saving time with mistakes. You're saving time with being unsure what it is you're writing next. You're saving time by being able to plan and coordinate your essay response, and that you cover every aspect in the question in the given time that you have if you're doing an exam, or making sure that you can do it within the given word limit without having to cross things out, or if you're one of those people who finish early, being able to write it and expand upon it in different ways that you bring it up to the word limit required. Of course, you'd be trying to write over the word limit and then cut it down, and I'm hoping you're one of those students. So by planning and by really thinking about it, what you're doing is you know exactly what it is you need to do. You don't over plan it, you don't try and write specifically what you're going to say in every section, but have an idea that's flexible enough that you can keep working on it. And then if you've got an idea that you want to change slightly as you go down, you go back to your plan, you make sure that it will fit, and then you put it in. So you make it flexible, but at the same time, you know exactly where it is that you're going next. It's a roadmap. That's all it is. It really, as I said, should only take you a few seconds just to really identify first, and then a couple of minutes to really develop into enough detail that you're ready to go and you exactly know what you need to do. So let's put the question and the planning first. So what you're doing is you must address each aspect of the question. Now, it might seem obvious when you do this, but it's something that really does require diligence. So making sure that when you look at the question, identify the keywords and every other little part of the question, you know exactly what it is that you need to do. Your plan is making sure you address every one of those keywords and really putting an answer which is going to then relate back to the question. You're basically indicating that what you're writing is going to answer the question. Now, if you've got a couple of keywords in mind, and this is always very helpful, by having lots of keywords in mind, you're repeating to yourself over and over, okay, I need to do this, and I need to do this in my answer. And as you're planning it, you've got that frame of mind already. So you're not forgetting halfway through what it is you're actually writing about again. And often, if you're doing an exam, for instance, and I know I've done them as well, the adrenaline kicks in and you're just writing things and you completely forget what it is the question was again. So by planning it in advance, and if you're sticking to that plan, then what you're doing is you're basically making sure that everything you're writing is related back to the question, and that you're thinking about it in such a way that you know where you're going next. You know exactly what it is you're trying to do. It helps to sort of calm you. It really does give you an idea of exactly what it is you need to do. So the planning process. Take some time, and do really take time. Consider all potential answers and evaluate which one's the best one. So all those lots of ideas you have, try and condense them into a couple of main ones. So like this diagram showing here, is you've got tons of ideas, they all swirling around like a big pool, and then you just try and group them together. So you group them. This avoids repetition and it helps to strengthen them. So if you've got a couple of really big main ideas, and then you really develop them for your discussion and you link them back to the question again, then what you're doing is you're really developing your argument with a great deal of strength. And that's again what you're trying to do, rather than having lots of little things swimming around which you're then trying to prove and justify, and it becomes a big mess. Next thing is you develop 3 or 4 of them. So I would prefer 3 personally if I'm looking at someone's response, and really just sort of group them. You have them ready to go. Then from there you can basically find key pieces of evidence which you can use in your answer which back up those things. So you can find them in advance. Of course you can do it as you're writing as well, but it's always good to know roughly where you're going to get your ideas from and how it is you're going to prove it. This is something that you also need to do. And finally, you're arranging your main ideas. So after you've got them, you've grouped them, you've developed them, you know exactly what you're going to write for each section, you found evidence, you arrange them. So you put them in order from strongest to weakest. That's not to say your bottom argument is so weak that it barely holds water. What you're saying is that you start with your strongest idea and then you just work your way down. All the ideas should be roughly about the same in strength, but you would still start with your strongest one.